Last night we saw Transporter 3, third installment in the Transporter series, starring Jason Statham and produced by Luc Besson. This one is the first one that's directed by a guy named Olivier Megaton. Megaton, because his real name's not Megaton. So I don't know if it's Megaton or Olivier Megaton, but either way, he directed Transporter 3, and he didn't do a very good job of it. I don't know if you haven't seen the Transporter movies. I know my dad's seen all of them, and I've seen 2 of them, but we might be some of the few people that have watched both of them, because not very many people watch these movies, which is kind of a shame, because the first 2 are actually pretty good. They're about a guy named Frank, played by Jason Statham. He of the Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels and Snatch fame as a dude that is really, really good at driving, lives by a code. No names, don't open the package. And these rules kind of let him be, for the first couple of movies, a relatively interesting kind of anti-hero. It lets him be a good bad guy who can get revenge against the bad guy who tries to screw with him, or the girl that ends up in the back of his car. And in the third movie, the bad guy that looks like Elvis on meth from Prison Break snaps an exploding bracelet that's based on magnetic technology, whatever the fuck that means, on his wrist, and forces him to drive a girl around. And this is kind of where I had a problem. If you're a dude who's got a job and you think, okay, guy who looks like Elvis on meth, how should I best solve my trouble? I've got to get this toxic waste into the Ukraine. But the boss of the Ukraine is being such an obstinate jerk. Let's kidnap his daughter and then drive her around the countryside so that they can't get a location on her, I guess? Okay, well, what do we have at our disposal? We have a milk truck with a hacker in it, filled with computers, that can drive around. 2 black Range Rovers filled with guys with machine guns. Those can drive around. Another big truck with green barrels in it that can drive around. And another unseen couple of cars filled with Asian martial art experts. So you think, okay, we've got all these cars, but what we really need is another car being driven by a guy who wants to kill us to drive the girl around. Excellent decision-making guy that looks like Elvis on methamphetamines. Literally, there's about 175 different things that this bad guy could have done. He just kept doing the wrong thing because that was apparently the only way to write the script. It's terrible. That would kind of be okay because it's a B-movie, and B-movies don't have to make much sense. They can just kind of be retarded because they're honest. They say, we're just going to entertain you with something completely stupid that has little to no subtext, no subplot outside of the main plot, and even if the main plot is completely stupid, it won't matter anyways because you're either going to have a boob or a gun or a fireball in your face at all times. This one offers none of that. There's like 2 fights, 2 car crashes. A guy shoots an entire 2 clips from a machine gun at Frank in his car and doesn't hit the car once. They don't even do us the honor of breaking the windshield out. What they do instead is Frank talks with a really freckly Ukrainian woman about food for like 10 minutes. And then she gets out of the car after that conversation and she pees on a gas station floor because she's on ecstasy. And she likes to drink vodka. It's garbage. All of its flaws could have just been covered up if they just lit shit on fire, but they didn't. So what I'm going to suggest that you watch instead is the other Jason Statham driving a crazy car around and killing people movie from this year, Death Race, which is a remake of the movie that came out way, way, way back when, Death Race 2000, which is also worth watching. But I want you to watch the remake, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who's famous for directing some of the worst movies of all time, but also some of the kitschy, coolest movies of all time, Mortal Kombat and Event Horizon. So maybe he can kind of pull some things out, and he does with Death Race. It's bloody and retarded. It's in the future after there's a real bad economy. Everybody decides to watch people race around a prison yard in crazy cars, shooting each other with guns, and whoever survives is the winner. And Jason Statham plays a guy named Frankenstein who's recruited to come race, and he's innocent and whatever. It doesn't matter. The whole thing, start to finish, is full of terrible performances, and The script is ridiculous and the plot doesn't make any sense, but it is full of explosions. Oh, what is he gonna do? How is he gonna escape? Oh my God, it's the giant car. Oh, he does a thing. Yes! You get that actual visceral feeling, which is what movies are for, which is what Transporter 3 never ever provides. Death Race, not good, but totally worth watching, especially if you want to watch something that's completely brainless and just kind of violently entertaining and disturbing. But skip Transporter 3.